Good afternoon and welcome to the teleconferencing session for post-basic BSc nursing students of Indira Gandhi National Open University. We are going to discuss for the third year students the various areas of your program. In the first session, we'll be talking about nursing administration. It will be followed by the second session on community health nursing, and the last session, which starts at 4:15, will be on nursing research. All these three sessions will be handled by the experts from the various places, and we will be inviting a lot of questions. So if you have any question, you can always take the help of our regional center and regional director, who would facilitate you to interact with us. May I request all the regional directors to kindly give us the attendance of the students who are going to attend or who are attending already today's session, so that we are able to know how much effective the teleconference is. You must have got the feedback pro forma also, and kindly give it to students to fill it up so that we know what they have learnt and what they want us to improve on. With this, we have in our studio Mrs. Sunita Patni, a senior faculty member at Rajkumari Amritkaur College of Nursing, University of Delhi, and she is also involved in nursing administration course at RAK College of Nursing as well as with IGNOU. We are very happy to have you, Mrs. Patni, with us, and I'm sure students are going to benefit a lot from what we are going to discuss. We are basically going to discuss about personnel management, which you know is your block 3 of BNS 110. BNS 110 is on nursing administration course, and under that we are going to discuss about the unit 1, which talks about personnel management. We thought this is one area which you need to take care of, because the person who is there in the nursing services, a nursing director or nursing superintendent, has to work very closely with the human resource person in the department or in the hospital or in the organization to see that there is adequate manpower planning as per the requirement of nursing norms, as per the requirement of nurse-patient ratio, and as per the requirement of standards of nursing care which is to be given to the patient, so that the patient recovers fast and the nursing care adds to the cost effectiveness of the hospital. If the patient recovers fast with effective nursing care, the cost burden on the hospital is reduced because the turnover rate would be higher. And with this view, we discuss about what is management and what is personnel management. Mrs. Bhatni, would you like to explain what is management?
Thank you. Yes, so management is actually has close relationship with administration. Administration and management are linked to each other. If we want to have effective administration, we must have good management of all the resources which are available. So how effective we manage the things, that makes the management more enabling. So management is an enabling process. When we talk about management, this is management of various resources, that is in the form of man, money, materials, methods and machineries. How effective we manage, that makes a difference. Like for example, in a hospital you will find different departments. One department is able to manage very effectively. That all makes the difference, that how administrator or the manager is able to manage within the same resources. Whereas if you find in other with the same resources or more resources, the person is not able to manage the work so well. So that is how we say that effective management is the best utilization of the resources which are available. In a ward, if there are one ward in charge or a manager says that you just give me 2 staff, I will manage the whole ward effectively. On the other side, one manager may say that even 5, 6 or 7 staffs are not sufficient for her to manage the work so effectively. So this is how you are able to plan, organize and direct and control the work. So that is what is actually management. The functions of every worker is to do their job in more effective manner. That should be economical, efficient and effective. So it is not only to do the work, but how economical, how effective and how efficient are you able to manage your department. as Mrs. Kapoor has rightly said, that if we want to maintain the standard of any nursing services or nursing unit, we need to have quality care, and that quality care will be from effective people, and effective people will be from effective managers. So if we want to have quality care, we need to have quality people. Quality people means we ensure that what type of policies do we have for their recruitment, for their selection, so that they are able to give quality work and the turnover is good. So that is how the management is, that we want to utilize the resources in the best manner. That is said to be personal management. Personal management is how the manpower is utilized. We have so much manpower, how best they are utilized. Some we have very good qualified staff, but they are not being utilized so well. So that means this is the wastage of manpower. So what type of manpower utilization? Money. If same money is given, how best do you utilize that? The materials within the resources available. Sometimes in our own experiences we see that very expensive machineries are kept, but they are not utilized properly, and that is a wastage of materials or wastage of machineries. Now for example, personal management is very important in their development. Development in the sense that we have very expensive machineries, and how to use them or how to work with them. These are new machineries we have not learned how to use in the training. They need the development. So that is very important, that we must we must learn how to use those machineries for the best utilization. So personal management is concerned, nowadays it is more of concern, because it is some of the large organizations now they have a different departments of personal management, like they said human resource departments. Now these human resource departments are now only responsible for their recruitment, for selection procedures, or for how to promotions. All these are done by the department. If we have a small organizations, in that only either in charge, unit in charge, or the supervisor is responsible for its own personal management. So personal management is the set of activities which require meaning from being purposely related to people at work and their relationship with the organization. Its aim is to bring together and develop an effective organization. That means in the personal management we want to see that all people they work together and they have effective organization. Now if we talk about personal management, it is a process of developing, applying and evaluating policies, procedures and methods and programs related to individuals in an organization for achievements of goals in desired manner.
So I think it's very clear that personnel management is dealing with the human resources, the nursing personnel who would be employed in the nursing department of various level, the policies which are developed, the rules which are developed, the recruitment policies, educational policies, all will be related to the nursing personnel or human resources which are required for the nursing set up in the hospital or in an organization. Well, what are some of the aims of personnel management?
Yes, in personal management we must have some aims to run it more effectively, because in personal management there has to be some policies and procedures set, because that make the work more effective and that satisfy the manager as well as the people who are working under the management. Now we undergo certain aims, that is to determine the future staffing requirement in order to meet the service demand in the most effective and economical manner. That means if we want to have our personal management, we must see that in an organization how many people are required, how many staffs are required in a particular hospital. For that we need to know that how big the hospital is, how big the organization is. For example, if there is 500 bedded hospital, as a nursing manager we should be able to estimate that what is the future staffing requirement. It is not only for the new open hospital. Even for the existing hospital, since the demand is increasing, the beds are increasing for last 10 years, how much it has increased and how much it is increasing for next 5 years or 10 years, that must be able to determine the future staffing requirement. So that a nurse manager must be prepared that how many people are more required, so that we can have more effective and economical way of working, and that will give good output for the organization. It also ensures the effective development. Sometimes we recruit, we select a nursing personnel, but then after there no care is given that how to develop them day to day, because there is so much advancement in medicine, so much advancement in science technology, and in all aspects like computers they are advancing. So in that case we need to develop the nursing staff who are existing in a particular organization. So for that there is need for career development, for staff training, for their safety, health and welfare. That should be responsibility of a manager. Then development of effective communication. Communication makes the task more clear and easy. The manager should not keep all the things within herself or himself. He or she must have effective communication with all the subordinates, with all the people who are working under her, and consult whenever some new policy, new things have to come up. That must be in consultation with the people who are working with them, and good relationship within the organization. Then development and designing the procedure for solving personal and institutional differences by means of joint consultation. There has to be one committee or people who should be senior, they should sit together to solve certain problems which are joint. Like they should be able to decide that this is a procedure, this is a policy for solving this type of problem. The problem may be in relation to indiscipline, it may be in relation to certain personal problems of the people. So what are the policies which they should be able to adopt? That should remain same for all the people together. Then provision for organized structure and working environment. It is essential to have conducive working environment within the people where they are working, so that again there will be more efficient and effective work and less of conflicts among the people. Then development of personal policies and general policies must be there. Policies, as will be discussed of course later, what are personal policies, but this has to be developed so that at once the people should know that what are the rules and regulations under which they have to work, and personal policies are related to the people who are working, and other policies which are related to other things or other materials which has to be set before the organization start working. So these are some of the aims of personal policies.
I think those are worked and discussed in quite a detail, that what are some of the aims, because aims are the one which are going to reflect the whole content what we are going to discuss. But some of the important activities, I think let us take it out from aims only. If you see whatever the aims are mentioned by Mrs. Patni, if you look at this slide, the activities of personal management reflect the aims. One of the major activities, manpower planning. Mrs. Patni was mentioning about it, that one of the responsibilities is recruitment of people, proper recruitment. For that you do the advertisement, you see that right kind of people are able to get it and right kind of people apply for that particular post. So manpower planning is done, that not planning for short term but planning for long term, planning for expansion. That suppose you are going to have these many units more, hence after 10 years, what would be the requirement of manpower? So manpower planning is done for a short-term achievement of goals and for the long-term requirement. And once the manpower planning is done, you need to also know that what levels of manpower you require. Do you require at a supervisory level, at the middle management level in the nursing, or at the grassroots level worker, that is staff nurses? And you will find that you will require more of the people at the grassroots level worker, that is the staff nurses level, and the middle manager like ward sister supervisors. So manpower planning is one of the important activities of personnel management. The other is selection procedure. Once that advertisement is done, the right kind of people should be selected. I think very rightly Mrs. Patni had been saying that efficient people need to be selected. Because if you want that the patient should get a quality care, the selection of the people should be done based on what kind of curriculum they have gone through, what are the practical skills they have developed as per the requirement of Indian Nursing Council, and whether they have actually developed those skills or not. Well, you cannot judge in one interview, but at least you will be able to have various methods of interviewing to the person, and you will be able to make out from the past experience of the person who is going to join your organization. So selection procedure has to be done very efficiently, so that you are able to get quality personnel to give good care to your patients, so that the organizational goals are also achieved. Induction. Once the nursing personnel have joined, it is very significant, very important that instead of straight putting them in a particular ward and telling them to take the responsibility, we should give them an orientation. Induction meeting should be conducted for them. They should be told what is the expectation out of them, what kind of patient they will be looking after, how long they will be working in one particular ward, and what will be the rotation mechanism, so that they are mentally prepared and they know what emoluments they are going to get, what other facilities they have, should be explained briefly in the induction meeting, or what we call it as orientation. The other is training. I think within the context of discussion of aims of the personnel management, Mrs. Patni mentioned that training is very important in the area in which the person is working, because if the person had the training in, say, working in burns and burns ward, but now you are posting her in operation theatre, you need to give orientation and a training. Say for 1 month or 2 months, she does not become a scrub nurse. She only becomes an assistant nurse to get to know the procedure of that particular operation theatre. Not that she does not know how to assist in operation, but at least she needs to know the mechanism or the methods being adopted in that particular operation theatre, because she has not worked in that operation theatre. Also, recognizing the efforts and appraisal, very important, because if an appraisal is given by a particular senior nursing about a staff nurse that she is a very outstanding, she is good at communication, she is good at performing activities for the patient, and patient satisfaction level is good when she is on duty. Now this appraisal, these efforts which are put in by a staff nurse, by a nursing personnel, should be recognized in terms of sending for higher education, in terms of giving more in-service education opportunities, in terms of giving promotion, in terms of giving increments, because these are some of the activities of personnel management to ensure that whatever efforts and appraisals are there, they are put at the right place at the right time. Environment for effective delegation and supervision. Now this is very important, because the management must see that they should provide the environment for working. If you have a ward with 45 beds and you are admitting 60 patients, the ward is admitting 60 patients, now from where is she going to get the beds? Ultimately it will be on the floor only, where you are going to cause more cross-infection. You are also putting the nurse into difficulty to bend so many times to give care to the patient. By the end of the day, she gets so exhausted looking after so many patients on the floor that she is not able to perform well. Also, for effective delegation and supervision, you also need to provide those kind of infrastructure. You need to have supervisors so that they can go and supervise. Not that you only have the people working, but if they have any problem to discuss, they have no supervisor with whom they can discuss. So management has to see, this is one of the important activities of personnel management, system of consultation and working relationship. I think it was mentioned by Mrs. Patni in the aims of personnel management that there should be possibility that the consultation is provided whenever a particular nurse needs that kind of consultation. What happens is that the person is with doubt, how do I carry on these kind of procedures when I'm not aware of it? There should be somebody to provide her that kind of help. Also working relation. That kind of environment should be there, that people are able to come on a round table and discuss the problems which they are facing in the ward. The nurses should be able to sit somewhere and say that how they can improve the patient care. And these kind of facilities, these kind of opportunities should be provided by the personnel management. Opportunity for counseling and welfare channel of communication. That is very important, because we expect lots from the people, but we don't expect how much help you can give. How come a nurse who is so effective in her work, but due to certain reason is not able to perform up to that level and is graded as a low in performance? Have we given her an opportunity to come and talk to us? Has the management provided that kind of atmosphere where she or he can freely discuss that I am going through these kind of stressful situation? I was just hearing one of the employee talking to me today morning and saying that, look, that employee's mother is suffering from cancer, but the employers do not know, and they expect that particular person to stay late at night, and also they expect her to work on Saturday, Sundays, when the mother is with the advanced stages of, deadly disease like carcinoma. Now, these are the conditions where I think the management needs to provide the opportunity that why a person is not a person. I mean, these are expected things from any human being. The days would be there when person is not able to put that much of energy level into work due to various factors, because a nurse is also a human being who lives in a social setting, social system, and has got a social structure in which she lives, a family in which she lives, and these kind of planning should be done by the management, and this is one of the important activity of management. Another is staff development. We expect a nurse who has done GNM training or post-basic BSc nursing, that's enough for her. She doesn't need to update her knowledge and skills. That's not possible, because we create that kind of environment. A nurse is not there only to attend to the physical need, spiritual need, and to the therapeutic need which are prescribed, but she has to make decision on giving a proper care to the patient. How does she give proper care to the patient when she doesn't even know what changes are taking place in neonatology arena? She doesn't even know what are the changes which are taking place in the maternal and child health. And look at the difference which is created between the team workers. Some of the team workers are given opportunity to go and update their knowledge and skills through conferences, through paper presentation, whereas the nursing personnel are not given. Of course, the private sector is picking it up, and UGC is giving that kind of facilities or accreditation to only those organizations where wherever the colleges or departments are there. From each department, the person is to be sent for the staff development after 2 to 3 years, and I think that is very important to maintain the standards of nursing care and also to maintain the standards of an institution. So staff development is also an important activity which should be taken care by the management, and they must have clear policies for it. So this is what I thought, and would you like to sum up?
Yes, definitely, ma'am.
We have a slide on, a very good slide on this.
It is said for dynamic management. Since we have many people who are working with us, we need to have certain type of policy formation to have more smooth working in the working environment, because there will be welfare for the people, for their safety and for their services. So this policy formation, for example, if the policy for recruitment, policy for selection, people should be able to judge themselves whether they are fit to come in this job or no. So if there is one set policy, then at least each one will be safe in their own working environment. I remember one example. In one of the institutions, they had given selection of one advertisement for selection of staff nurses. So in that advertisement, they simply wrote that she should be GNM, 10+2 and GNM. So there were so many staff nurses who came for the interview, and at the time of interview, when the interviewers, they saw that there are so many candidates and interview is not possible, on the spot they just announced that we will only take those people who have +2 years of experience. So these type of policies, I think, are not suited to the people's welfare, because they said we have come for the interview and now you told us that we should go back. So these type of policy should be set before we plan for any such activity. Organization and design. Organization should be set like job description, job analysis, the communication procedure or recognition of the people, and grading structure and cadre management, etc. should be well organized. Even now, if you see in the nursing staff, usually there is so much saying that we have extra work we require to do. So with the result, we are not able to perform our nursing task. Maybe there are more of clerical or more of record system which they need. There is so much time is spent on that. So there is no proper organization for the nursing activities and no proper design. A design like there should be proper cadre that after 3 years each staff nurse will be promoted as ward sister, or after 3 years each ward sister with administrative course will be promoted for this. So there has to be some proper organization. And communication, as we again said, there should be two-way communication, effective communication from the supervisor to the subordinate and vice versa, and there should be communication regarding grievances. Sometimes the administrator does not listen to the grievances and there are so much conflicts and working environment is not that conducive. So there has to be good communication between the supervisor and the subordinates. Control of labor. The people who are working, how their recruitment, how selection, how their performances are to be recognized is very important. It is essential that their work must be appraised and proper promotions and maintaining of discipline should be there, because again there will be conflict among the staff. If there is no proper discipline, one person is coming late, the other one is coming in time, will be frustrated that I'm coming in time and she is not coming in time, and it is the same output which is for both of them. So there has to be recognition for a person who is in discipline, and there has to be some proper procedure for their recruitment, selection, etc. Then control of power. The authority has to be defined, that who is the person who has authority for certain people and to what extent she has the authority to do the work, how much is the power she is holding, not taking the advantage of that power, and how it has to be utilized in a proper manner to control the people. So this is all is essential for management of the personnel.
Okay, so you were talking about the policies. That means all this is reflecting in the policies.
Yes.
What do you mean by personnel policies?
Personnel policies are one of the very essential aspect of personnel management. Any organization always have some or the other policies, but the set policies are a guidelines for the manager to have a smooth working, because it is very safeguard for the manager, because he or she does not have to waste the time in making decision or organizing or directing or planning the work. Once there are set policies, then one has to just work under those set policies. So personnel policies are the rules and regulations which are set for management of the people who are working in a specific organization. For example, in nursing department, there are certain personnel policies, we can say nursing personnel policies in the hospital. Then there are certain policies in a unit. Then there are different policies for the different units, because the policies of operation theatre will be different for the policies of the surgical ward or any other medical ward. So there has to be general policies as well as the specific policies of a different unit. So policies and procedures are means for accomplishing the goals. Now we have to set the policies according to the goals we want to achieve. The goals of nursing activity is to provide effective nursing care to the people in a particular hospital or in a particular unit. Now this can be preventive, promotive. So the policies has to be based on the goals to be achieved by an organization. Policies explain how goals will be achieved and serve as a guide for future decision and action. That means if we set the policies and in future we have to make some decision, we will undergo those policies and take the action, help coordinate the plan. It also helps that how to coordinate different plans which have been set and control the performance. Controlling is that we ensure that all the activities, all the work is going in a right direction. And if there is a wrong direction, or like for example the goal is that each patient should good quality care. We get the patients are dissatisfied. That means this is not under control. There is something wrong somewhere in getting care for the patient, and that is why they are not getting the quality care. It may be something with the manpower, something maybe with the materials, that we have to find. In that case we have to control the performance, increase the consistency of the action. That means we have to see that what action is taken which remains consistent, that must not change as per your need or as per manager's whatever he or she wants. This is an integral part of personnel management. Now, the policies are different, like employment policies. Employment policies or promotion policies, if they are set, like if a person, there are set promotion policies, a person knows if she or he is working in an organization, after 3 years or 5 years she will be getting a promotion. So this is a promotion policies. This can be direct policies or indirect policies that should be communicated to the people who are working in that. So these again are set for recruitment, for selection, what should be the qualification, what should be experience, and the responsibility. This is the responsibility of the top manager.
Okay.
If we just give the definition of personal policies, we can see these are the written statement of an organization's goal and intent concerning matters that affect the personal working in an organization. So these are in brief about the personal policies and the definition.
I think that has given a very comprehensive view to you about what do we mean by personal policies. To have personal policies of an organization, there has to be certain elements or characteristics attached to it. For example, it should be specific. It should be specific, like if it is an employment policies, what is to be included. If it is a welfare policies, what are to be included. But it should avoid minute details. Now, why minute details to be avoided? Because these become guidelines only. They are guidelines. They are not. If we put all the minute details, now tomorrow if you want to add something or delete something, you will not be able to do it. So it is better to have broad areas, though it is specific. It is related to employment, it is related to welfare, it is related to education, but it should not be so very minutely mentioned that tomorrow if you want to add something or delete, it is not possible. The other characteristic is it should possess high degree of consistency and permanency. We say that if there is a policy that in employment you have to have 10 plus 2 plus 3 years GNM training to take employment, it should have that consistency in the employment policy. And of course, it should be a permanent feature because that's a basic qualification required. But it should not be inflexible. For example, if you say 2 years experience, but tomorrow if you are not getting people with 2 years experience, maybe you can recruit the fresh people. So it should not be inflexible. There should be scope of flexibility. It should recognize individual differences, because you will find that the people who are capable of carrying on lot of research, lot of teaching without going through the postgraduate program or without going through the doctoral program, should be those kind of individuals need to be given importance, and the policies should provide a scope within its characteristic, and that's what is considered as a good policy. It should be formulated with due regards for the interest of all parties, that is the employer, employee, public and client. See, all the time we cannot think of only the patients. How can the patients be given effective care if the employees, that is the nursing personnel, have to travel 3 hours to reach to the hospital, and that also by the public transport? Why is the private sector gaining more importance nowadays? Because you have pick and drop kind of a system. You have a facility for lunch, you have a facility for crèche. Now these when the policies are being formulated, interest, of course, employer should not be at loss. Neither the employee should be in discomfort, so that they are able to keep the interest of public as well as clients while providing care to the patients. It should conform, not conform, it should conform to the government regulation, because there would be certain rules to which, for example, it is in a constitution that no patient should be refused admission in the government hospitals. Now, if that is to be observed, in that case, one has to conform to these kind of regulation. Policies should provide the means for becoming generally known to all concerned through the policy bank of the organization. See, policy is not a hidden document. Everything of the organization should not be secret. secretive for the organization. It should be well known to everybody, because if it is known to everybody, then you as an employee would know that what is right and what is wrong, what you should have done and what you should have not done. But if every document is kept as a secret, as a treasure, and not shared, then the people will not be aware of it. But I think RTI has given that kind of opportunity. If you want to learn certain thing more, the facilities are extended now, and most of the organizations have put their whole material on the website. And if you are this should be there always. It should be consistent, so that people are able to know about that kind of policy, that what are my rights as an individual. If I have gone through the sickness, what kind of leave can I avail? If I have done a mistake in the ward, what kind of protections are available for me, whom I can go and explain? What hazards can be there if I have caused harm to the patient? Will my RN get cancelled? Now these kind of things should be available to all of you. It should be written and formulated as a result of careful analysis of all the facts. The policy statement should be written down. It should not be that something is applicable for A and is not applicable for B. It should be forward looking and forward planning for continuing development. It should not be very narrow. It should give a scope that what future development can be done. We would, those nurses who go for higher education, the institution will support them whenever they want to go. Now that means this is a very good policy, that if tomorrow you want to do your masters, your MPhil, your PhD, you are getting that opportunity from your organization. If you want to, if there is a need for improvement in a nursing care and there are opportunity of attending a conference or seminar, the organization will provide these kind of facility once in 3 years or once in 5 years. Now these are forward looking kind of policies. So these are some of the characteristics of a policy, personnel policies, which I think the personnel department always keeps in mind while developing the policies. Now I was thinking that there would be certain ways to go ahead. What are the processes which nursing leaders have to keep in mind along with their HR personnel while developing the policies?
Yes, it is very essential to know that how to have the personal policies or how to prepare the personal policies. Now, personal policies is not something which has to be only at the top management. It can be even at the lower management as well. So, personal policies can be developed at any stage. But the main authority is with the top management. So, every organization has set of personal policies, but they need to be revised. The development can be originated from lower as well as from the upper. But the accountability is with the top authority. Now these can be even developed simultaneously. Like top management, they can develop their own policies, and the lower management, they can develop their own policies, but they has to be coordinate to each other so that the policies remain the same. Now the top management policies are usually the broader aspects, and the lower management are more specific for the people. I would give you an example, like we in our own institution, in our own as a ward sister, you can have the personal policies prepared by you for your own unit or a ward. Like these policies should include all those, what type of leaves are due, what types of off, what sick leaves can be taken, or how to resignations are done, how on-call duties are done, what are the nursing procedures which are to be done, and how the promotions are done, how in-service education. Here I would like to emphasize that if there is a policy for sending in-service education to the people, at least to the staff, they know that every senior person, as Mrs. Kapoor has said, that every senior person will feel that she also will get a chance to go for in-service education. Usually there is a like there are workshops being organized. All those senior people, they will every time, I mean frequently they will be coming and no chance is given to the junior ones. So if it is turn by turn, that everybody by turn will get this chance, at least they have this in their policy that they will get a chance sometimes. And on and off duties and all these should be included in the policy. The timings, what are the timings for morning shift, evening shift and night shift, etc. So this all should be included in the personal policies.
I wanted to find out what is the process or what are the stages which will get evolved in the personal policies.
Before preparing the policies, whatever are existing, that should be reviewed, and there should be clarification of philosophy and objectives. So that means we should have set of objectives in our hand. The objective is to give the quality care to the patient, and philosophy believes in giving care to nursing care to the patient. So keeping this point in mind, we should analyze the relevant facts, that which are those facts or the relevant information for having the set policies, that should be analyzed, and this all information should be consulted with the staff representative. All those heads or who are the seniors, they should be consulted before preparing the policies and write the first draft. Then we should collect all those information that has to be written first draft, then organize them and then discuss for the final approval. Once the personal policies are finally prepared, that should be communicated, as Mrs. Kapoor has said, that this is not hidden. This should be communicated to the people who are working so that they are clear that under which guidelines are they working and what are their welfare and what is the welfare for the organization and for the patient. So this will include the welfare of each one who is working in the organization, and it should not be for last 20 years or 30 years the same policies are there. This has to be revised, this should be reviewed, re-evaluated, and follow-up has to be done, that are we following those policies or not. So this is what we have to follow, certain stages for the person.
I think it's very important that the policies need to be reviewed and revised as and when required, because the policies keep on lying in the yellow pages and they say the same are kept on being used. But I think the amendments keeps getting added. Now, some of the advantages of personal policies, as we had been saying from the beginning, it is for the employer and employee both. So employee, it represents a guarantee for fair and a just treatment for the employer, because employee finds that there will be a proper treatment given, a fair treatment will be given by the employer. Whereas to the supervisor, it is basically to safeguard for actions and also decisions, and also relieve them from any kind of anxiety, that the supervisors will get the guidance, supervisors will be able to provide the guidance. Let's quickly go through it. Like when we say the employee, to give the employee a sense of security and individual worth. Also, it gives the employee a pride and loyalty to work in an organization because there are clear policies. The worker tends to give the best of services because the employee feels confident to work in that organization. Supervisor, once the established personal policies are there, it serves them as guides so that they are able to handle the individual cases effectively. This is what is very important when we talk about the personal policies and the advantages of personal policies. With this, I think we will conclude today's session, that we have discussed about what is the meaning of personal policies, what are some of the important activities which are to be done by a personnel department, and what are the characteristics, how the policies are to be written, what are their characteristics, and what are the advantages of personnel policies. Thank you very much, Mrs. Patni, for being with us and talking. This is supposed to be a little difficult topic for our nursing students, but I think they must have enjoyed the simple way by which you have explained to them. I would also request all the regional directors to kindly give us attendance. We are just waiting for calls. Hyderabad, Bangalore, Kerala, also Khanna, other places, please, Pune, give us a call and let us know how many students are attending today's teleconference. And if none are attending, please let us know that also, because I had been making a request for quite some time since morning, but we are still waiting for the calls. Or you can send us a fax if you are not able to get the telephonic calls. We will have a break for 15 minutes. We will resume back at 3:30. So join us back wherever you are. Thank you very much. Thank you.